Welcome to Trojans Live.
Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and the new men's golf head coach, JT Higgins, joins us now. He comes to USC from Texas A&M, but your story and path into coaching is a little bit more unique than the typical guy. You know, I'm seeing you on the Zoom here, Coach. You've got your LA Dodgers hat on, so you have
Game one, man.
Yeah, you are ready to go. It's tied 1-1 in the eighth. We have David Gaitan is in there. He's got his Dodger hat on. He's watching it here in the studio. So we'll try not to take up too much of your time, then, Coach. But give us your story about how you got into golf coaching, because it's not typical.
Oh gosh. So I played baseball and basketball in college. Small school up in the Northwest Eastern Oregon State University, and I'd never even played golf. I still haven't played any competitive golf. And my first job coming out of college, I worked for the AAA baseball team in Vegas, and as a PR director. And then UNLV, that year was 1990. UNLV had just won the national championship in basketball. Their SID left, and I interviewed for the SID job at UNLV. I think I had the job in the bag, and the athletic director, Brad Rothermel, said, "We just have one more guy to meet. You got to go meet Tark." And walked into Coach Tarkanian's office, and Brad said, "Hey, Jerry, I want you to meet our new SID. This is JT Higgins." And he was reading the paper, and he looked up and said, "He's too young." And Brad put his arm around me and walked me out the door. And I just went back to the baseball team. I was like, fine, I love baseball anyway. It's where I want to be. And about 2 weeks later, they hired another guy, and Brad told him he needed to come hire me to be his assistant. And so I was the number one assistant for Sports Info had football in the fall, basketball in the winter. So travel with the undefeated team that lost to Duke before. Wow. Yeah, I hate Christian Laettner.
Well, everybody does. That was part of Christian Laettner's thing.
Exactly. And then anyway, I had to pick a spring sport, and I wanted baseball, and they had a guy that had been there a very long time. And so they said, "You can't have baseball, you got to pick something else." So I chose the golf team, and I treated them just like I would the football or basketball team. And the coach took a notice and liking to me. At the end of that season, their assistant coach left. He's now the head coach at Georgia Tech, Bruce Hepler. And Coach Knight asked me if I ever thought about getting into coaching. And he said, I looked at him and I said, "Golf?" And he said, "Yeah, golf." And I said, "No, it's never even crossed my mind to be a golf coach." And he said, "Well, why not?" And I told him, "Well, everything I know about golf, I've learned in the last 6 months." So he said, "Don't worry about that. I'll teach you everything you need to know about golf." And I turned him down 2 more times, and he asked me how much money I made. And I told him, and he said, "I'll give you a $5,000 raise in a car." And I was a young,
sign me up,
couple of kids, and I was like, "Man, how do you pass this up?" Sure, I'll give it a try. And so, I really thought I'd do it for a couple of years and get back into administration. My path, I really wanted to be a general manager of a baseball team or an athletic director, kind of that road. And man, we just started killing it and recruiting and putting together great teams. And so after a couple of years, I thought, man, I better pay attention here and figure out what I'm doing. And so I kind of glued myself to his hip and learned everything I could about golf, and kind of the rest is history.
Coach, you're a former native to Southern California, correct? In the Venice area at one time. What enticed you about coming back to Southern California and being and coaching at SC?
That was a big part of it. There's so many things. I grew up here. My mom remarried when I was in high school, and or right before I started high school. And we moved to Idaho, and then made my way back where it was warm. 8 years up in the Northwest, I realized that I wanted warm weather. And so anyway, I just, every chance I've ever had to come back to California to visit. My family lives in the Sacramento area, and I love San Diego and LA and Orange County, all of it. So it's really my favorite place in the world. So a chance to come back. Also, I felt like at A&M we had done just about everything we could do. I mean, we could still do more, right? You can win more championships, and you can put out more All-Americans and more tour players. Those things are all great, but it's been done. And I just thought, man, let's go see if we can do the same thing. Completely different environments, right? I mean, a small college town and the big city. At A&M, we had an unbelievable one golf course facility. Great place to play in practice. At LA, we're kind of spread out and just different challenges. And, I thought it was just time to give something else a shot. But to be honest with you, USC is the only place I would have done it. I still want to win, and so this is a place I really believe we could win a national championship. And so to be able to combine all those things together and still have a chance to compete at the highest level is great for me.
As you said, you're a baseball guy, and they always say when a pitching coach comes out to the mound, they rarely talk about mechanics during a game. Is that sort of how you view coaching on the course? Because as you said, you're not a big mechanics guy. You tend to leave that to your assistants because you yourself are not an expert golfer. So when you're out there on the course with the guys, is it mental? Is it strategic? What's that relationship like when you're out there coaching?
For sure. If you're teaching, and I don't care how good a golfer you are, if you could be Tiger Woods, if you're out there with a player in the middle of a round and you're talking mechanics, when things are starting to go bad, it's probably going to go worse, so it's definitely much more mental. Get them on the right track, thinking the right things, get back to your fundamentals, picking a great target, having a nice tempo on the swing, and then trusting it. And if you can do those things and you can get your players to repeat that as often as possible, you've got a good chance to get them. And if you talk to a PGA Tour caddy, it's real similar. You're not trying to fix a golf swing in the middle of a round.
Billy Beane finally took that job with John Henry today. That's the report. There's GM jobs open. But are you a Moneyball kind of GM if you had gone that path?
I have a great story for you. When Moneyball came out, I was coaching at A&M, and I love the book. I love the movie. It's awesome. But I read it, and so I was talking to our assistant AD at Texas A&M, and I said, "Man, this is giving me some great ideas on recruiting and what I should be looking for." And my assistant AD looked right at me and he goes, "JT, we're the Yankees."
There you go. That's the conversation we were having earlier about upstarts and blue bloods. You're in a blue blood place now, certainly at USC. We welcome you to the Trojan family. JT Higgins, looking forward to your team getting out on the course this spring.